Hey besties, welcome to Afro Love Diaries, the place where love crosses borders and emotions feel real. Get your popcorn ready because today's story will melt your heart.
You remember when Ella said she would get in touch, right? Well, Destiny had another plan. Get ready, because this ending will melt your heart. It had been days since Ella left Korea, yet her laughter still lived in every corner of Joon-won's apartment. He sat on the edge of his couch that morning, dressed casually for once. No crisp suits, no board meetings. Just a man lost in his thoughts. The city outside buzzed as usual, but inside, time felt slower. His gaze drifted toward the kitchen, where her mug still sat, the one she used to drink that terrible instant coffee she swore was an American classic. He chuckled quietly, shaking his head. You really were chaos in human form, Ella. Then his eyes fell on the small sticky note she'd left on the fridge. It read in bold handwriting, "Don't forget to smile, or at least try not to frown your workers into panic. Miss USA." That one made him laugh, really laugh. The sound surprised even him. He sank deeper into the couch, scrolling through his phone, half expecting a text from her. But nothing. Just silence. Still, the memories came rushing back. That last night before her training ended, when she made him play that silly game of heart. He remembered how she'd grinned mischievously and said, "Rule number 1, Mr. CEO, no lying. Rule number 2, you smile at least once or you lose." He tried so hard to stay serious, but she kept teasing him with questions like, "Have you ever liked someone so much it scared you? Would you rather lose your company or your heart?" He'd laughed so much that night, he ended up losing, and she made him wear a ridiculous headband with pink bunny ears as his punishment. Now, as he replayed it in his mind, he found himself laughing again, clutching his chest. "You're lucky you're not here, Ella. I'd have fired you for that." His laughter slowly faded into a sigh. He glanced at the door, the same one she walked out of days ago, and whispered, "I didn't realize silence could sound this loud." But even in that silence, her voice echoed in his memory. "Do your thing, Mr. CEO." And for the first time in a long while, Joon-won smiled, not because of success, not because of money, but because of a memory that refused to fade. The glass doors of LYNX Technology slid open exactly on time, but the atmosphere inside felt slightly off schedule because Joon-won was smiling. Not the polite, boardroom smile he used for press photos. This was a small, helpless smile that kept creeping across his face like someone had quietly changed the office lighting to sunny. He caught himself twice, 3 times, then gave up and let it happen. Mr. Park at reception noticed first. He cleared his throat, pretending to be professional while glancing back at the CEO's office. "Sir, are you feeling well?" he asked when Joon-won stepped out into the corridor. "Fine," Joon-won replied, his voice casual, but his expression betrayed him. "I slept well." Park raised a brow. Since when does the CEO admit to that? By the time the elevator reached Joon-won's floor, gossip had already started its soft, corporate hum. He walked into the open plan office and saw teams glance up, then look away quickly as though catching someone smiling at them was a minor HR incident. During the morning meeting, his team presented a revenue forecast. Normally, Joon-won's feedback was precise and sharp. Today, his corrections were clipped, but accompanied by the faintest wink someone dared not notice. At one point, he corrected a slide and muttered under his breath, 2 sugars, which made Park about choke on his coffee. No one knew whether it was a joke or a new KPI. Between emails, his mind wandered to small, ridiculous memories. Ella in bunny ears during the game of hearts, the way she'd forced him to confess he once had a crush on his math teacher, her loud laugh at his terrible attempt at tteokbokki. Each memory made him smile until his cheeks ached. A junior in turn nudged another and whispered loudly enough for the room to hear, "Sir's happy." Did we hit a milestone? The CRO peeked over his laptop and deadpanned, "Either we did, or the CEO's gone rogue." At lunch, Mr. Park slid into Joon-won's office with a tablet and a knowing smirk. "Sir, your calendar shows a 1-hour block labeled emotional inventory. Should I clear your schedule?" Joon-won glanced up, trying to appear ruthless. He failed. "Cancel it," he said, clearing his throat. He picked up his phone, then paused, thumb hovering over his own phone, then typed, deleted, typed again. Finally, he wrote, "Morning. The office is quieter without your laugh. Hope you're eating breakfast." He hit send before he could overthink it. When the reply didn't come immediately, he watched the small delivered tick like a metronome. The silence felt loud again, but this time it was hopeful. As the day closed, he caught himself smiling one last time at a silly photo on his phone, her making a ridiculous face with a post-it on her forehead reading, "CEO approved chaos." He laughed out loud, and the sound echoed in his glass office like a private, joyous leak. He typed into his notes, "Not quite a plan, not quite a promise, find a way. Call her back. Don't let this be a memory that fades." The office lights dimmed, but his little smile stayed, a quiet beacon that something more than business was now on his agenda. For 3 whole days, Joon-woo hadn't heard a word from her. 3 whole days, 72 hours, and exactly 142 times he had checked his phone. Not that he was counting. Not a message. Not a call. Not even one of her silly voice notes that always started with, "Hey, Mr. CEO, did you miss me yet?" He told himself he was fine. CEOs don't get distracted by feelings. Yet here he was, sitting in his glass-walled office at LYNX Technology, scrolling through his inbox like it was going to give him comfort. His assistant, Mr. Park, stopped by with a file. "Sir, you look unproductive." "I'm analyzing market silence," Joon-woo replied flatly. "Market silence?" "Yes, when someone just disappears without explanation." Park sighed. "Sir, it's called ghosting. And you've been ghosted by your heart, not the market." Joon-woo glared. "Out." But as Park left, he couldn't help muttering, "She wouldn't just vanish, would she?" That night, he couldn't sleep. He stood by the window in his apartment, looking out at Seoul's lights. Her laughter echoed in his memory. Her teasing voice whispered, "Come on, Mr. CEO, live a little." He chuckled bitterly. "Yeah, look at me now. Living miserably." Every reflection of himself looked like someone waiting for a text that never came. He replayed their last moment before she left. Her teasing smile. Her laughter that filled his home. He even tried working late, but every time his phone buzzed, his heart jumped, only to find it was some boring company email. By the 3rd day, he gave up. He tossed his phone on the couch, muttered, "Maybe she's done with me," and tried to focus on a movie. That was when his phone finally buzzed. He froze. The screen lit up Ella's name. He snatched it up so fast he nearly dropped it. "Ella. Guess who lost her phone again? Don't laugh." This time, it fell into a bowl of soup. Don't ask how. It's a long story. Just got a new one and found your message. "Did you miss me, Mr. CEO? Or should I pretend you didn't?" For a moment, he just stared at the screen. Then he laughed. Not the quiet, polite kind, but the deep, helpless kind that comes when relief mixes with disbelief. He sat on the couch, still laughing, shaking his head. "Only you, Ella," he finally replied. "You dropped your phone in soup? That's not an accident. That's talent." A second later, her reply came. "Hey, the soup was aggressive, okay?" He chuckled again, feeling warmth spread through him. That familiar, chaotic warmth she always brought. Then she added another message. "Anyway, I missed your over-serious face in texts. You probably frowned every hour I didn't reply." He smiled and whispered to himself, "You have no idea." Leaning back, he looked at her messages again, heart lighter than it had been in days. The silence was gone, replaced by laughter, sarcasm, and a tiny spark of something that scared him more than loneliness ever could. "Ella," he murmured softly, "you're really something else." He typed back, "I was starting to think you deleted me on purpose." A few seconds later, she replied, "Deleted you? Never. Maybe misplaced you for 3 days, but not deleted," grinning face with sweat. He chuckled softly, shaking his head. She was back, and somehow, just one silly text brought color back to his world. "I missed your chaos, Ella," he typed. "You mean my beautiful chaos," she teased. "Exactly," he replied. For the first time in days, he felt warmth settle in his chest. He didn't care how long it had been. She was worth waiting for. He glanced out the window at the Seoul skyline, a small smile tugging at his lips. Maybe distance wasn't so bad as long as she was still somewhere thinking of him too. And right before he could send another message, her text popped in again. By the way, did you keep your promise, Mr. CEO? He frowned in mock confusion. Which one? The one about getting me that new citizenship. He laughed again, shaking his head. I'm working on it, Miss Trouble. LY Next Technology's next big project might just be Operation Make Ella Stay in Korean. Huh. Then do your thing, Mr. CEO. He smiled, reading her message over and over, not because of the words, but because of what they made him feel. Hope. Something real. The soft glow of Joon-woo's phone was the only light in his penthouse. It was 1:43 a.m., and instead of spreadsheets and board meetings, the CEO of LY Next Technology was smiling at his screen like a teenager. The conversation continued, flowing as effortlessly as laughter. They talked about food, about her job in the US, and about how she still burned toast. She teased him that his suits were probably organized by emotional mood, happy gray, serious navy, heartbroken black. He laughed so loudly. Later that night, Ella's voice came through his phone on a video call. She was wearing an oversized hoodie, her long black hair messy, her face glowing with that familiar warmth. You look tired, she said softly. I'm working hard to afford your lost phones, he teased. She rolled her eyes but smiled, her dimples showing. Then maybe I should lose one every month. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The silence wasn't awkward. It was full, charged with something neither could name. Ella, he finally said, voice lower now. Do you ever think about that night? Her smile faltered just a little. You mean the night before I left? He nodded slowly. I still remember the way you looked at me. Like I wasn't a CEO. Like I was just a man. Ella's heart skipped. She wanted to joke, to keep it light, but his tone melted her defenses. Well, that's all you were in that moment, she said gently. Just Joon-woo. He smiled, that quiet, real smile that made her chest ache. Then I hope one day I can be just Joon-woo again with you. The silence that followed was electric. She tried to laugh it off. You're getting soft, Mr. CEO. Only for you, he said. She froze, then covered her face with her hand, blushing. Ugh, stop that before I actually fall for you again. He grinned. Too late, Ella. Good night, troublemaker. Good night, phone loser. When the call ended, Joon-woo stared at his reflection in the black screen, smiling, but knowing his heart was in danger. And somewhere across the ocean, Ella stared at her own phone, whispering to herself. The soft hum of her heater filled the quiet room. She sat cross-legged on her bed, phone still glowing in her hand, her cheeks slightly pink. The screen showed the last text from Joon-woo. Sleep well, troublemaker. Don't forget to eat breakfast tomorrow. She giggled, falling back into her pillow, hugging it tightly. Troublemaker? Oh, this man has jokes now, she mumbled to herself, kicking her legs like a teenager in love. It was ridiculous. A whole tech billionaire texting her goodnight like a normal guy. Her heart thumped. Did I just blush because of him again? She rolled over, trying to convince herself it was just friendly. But who was she kidding? His smile had been replaying in her mind all evening, the way his usually cold voice softened whenever he said her name. She couldn't believe this was the same man who once barely said 2 words without sounding like a board meeting. Joon-woo, you've really turned me into a mess, she whispered, covering her face. Then she laughed out loud. And he made me laugh again, in the middle of the night. Gosh, this can't be normal. She scrolled through their chat again, stopping at the part where he had said he missed her energy at work. Her chest warmed. He missed me. For the first time since she left Korea, Ella felt something shift inside her, a tiny spark of longing she didn't want to name. She turned off her lamp but couldn't sleep. Instead, she stared at the ceiling, smiling to herself. I kinda miss him too, she admitted softly. Then she sat up, laughing at her own confession. No way. Nope. I'm not catching feelings for a CEO. Absolutely not. But her grin didn't fade. Even her reflection in the dark TV screen was smiling back. Ella picked up her phone again, typed miss you too, Mr. CEO, and then deleted it immediately. Oh no, we're not doing this, she muttered, laughing. He'll never let me hear the end of it. Still, she couldn't help it, the blush stayed. And even as she drifted to sleep, her dreams carried the echo of his voice, teasing and warm, like a melody that refused to fade. Morning sunlight spilled across the glass walls of LYNX technology, and for once, the ever-serious Joon-woo was smiling before his first meeting. His assistant nearly dropped his tablet when he saw it. "Sir, are you okay?" he asked cautiously. He looked up from his phone, pretending to adjust his tie. "I'm fine." "Why?" "You just smiled before 9 a.m. "That's, unusual," he said. He cleared his throat. "Must be the coffee." But it wasn't the coffee. It was Ella. For 2 months, their lives had fallen into a rhythm, a ritual that felt almost sacred. Every morning, she sent him a photo of her breakfast with some silly caption like, "Don't judge my toast, Chef June." And every night, no matter how tired he was, he called her. Sometimes they talked about her job, sometimes about the ridiculous reality shows she made him watch through video call. Their conversations were simple, but somehow they stitched their hearts closer every day. Ella couldn't explain it either. It was as if this man, this cold, calculating CEO, had melted into something soft only she could see. Sometimes he'd tell her about his long meetings and she'd tease, "You need a vacation, Mr. CEO. Preferably somewhere with me and no Wi-Fi." And he'd laugh, actually laugh. "You're trouble, Ella." "Yeah, but you like me that way," she'd shoot back. Those 2 months became their little world, full of laughter, inside jokes, and unspoken longing that neither of them dared to define. Until one afternoon, Ella was sitting at her office desk in the US, eating lunch and texting Joon-woo as usual when her phone buzzed again, this time from an unknown number. She frowned and picked up. "Hello." "Good afternoon," the voice said politely. "Is this Miss Ella Brooks?" "Yes, who's this?" "This is from LYNX Technology Headquarters, Seoul. We are calling to confirm your participation in the upcoming product reveal event. You've been personally selected by the CEO to represent the international trainees." Her fork dropped. Wait, what? The CEO did what now? Her heart began racing. She hadn't heard anything about returning to Korea. Not from her training center, not even from him. And before she could even gather her thoughts, another message from Joon-woo popped up on her screen. "Pack your bags. I hope you still remember your favorite Korean coffee spot." Ella froze, staring at the message, her mouth hanging open. She whispered, "This man just..." Then she burst out laughing. "He didn't even ask me. He just decided I'm going back." Still laughing, she shook her head. "Joon-woo, what are you up to this time?" But deep down, her heart skipped, a mix of excitement and something she couldn't quite name yet. The arrival gate buzzed with noise, laughter, rolling suitcases, airport announcements. Ella clutched her handbag, her heart pounding like a drum. "He said he was coming to pick me up. But what if I don't recognize him? What if he changed his mind?" She adjusted her wig nervously, her palms sweaty. Then she heard it. "Ella." She turned, and there he was. Joon-woo stood a few feet away, taller than she remembered, holding a little cardboard sign that read, "Welcome Trouble." For a second, she just froze, then burst out laughing. "Seriously, Joon-woo? Trouble?" He grinned, scratching his neck shyly. "Well, you kind of are. You disappear for 3 days, lose your phone, and I don't want you to fly to Korea and get missing this time." She covered her mouth, giggling. "Wow, you are impossible," she said. The air between them turned warm and quiet. She looked up at him, really looked, his smile, his eyes, the way he looked at her like she was the only person in the airport. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then he broke the tension with a smirk. "You're shorter than I imagined." "Excuse me," she gasped, hitting his arm playfully. He laughed, catching her wrist gently. "I'm kidding, you're perfect." And just like that, their laughter echoed through the airport, two souls meeting again, after months of words turned into reality. Seoul looked more beautiful than Ella remembered. The streets shimmered with neon lights, and the cool breeze carried the smell of roasted chestnuts and sweet bread from nearby stalls. She walked beside Joon-woo, who had insisted on showing her around the city before taking her home. "So this is your welcome tour," she teased, swinging her bag lightly. Mr. CEO turned to her guide. He chuckled. "I don't do this for everyone, you know. Only for special delegates." Ella arched a brow. "Special? Huh?" So tell me, why did you really choose me to represent Link's technology for that trainee program? There are so many qualified people out there. Joon-woo slowed his pace. His smile softened into something deeper, something that made Ella's heartbeat quicken. Because I wanted to see you. She blinked, caught off guard. Wait, what? He shoved his hands into his pockets, looking ahead. When you left, everything felt different. Work was the same, meetings the same, but it didn't feel the same. So when I had the chance to recommend someone for the partnership program, he glanced at her, eyes twinkling. I wrote your name without thinking twice. Ella laughed nervously, though her cheeks burned. You mean to tell me Link's technology is flying me around just because their CEO missed me? He grinned. Well, let's just say it's part business, part emotional investment. Emotional investment, she repeated, laughing out loud. You're unbelievable, Joon-woo. He stopped walking and faced her fully now, his expression both serious and playful. And yet, you're still here walking beside me. Ella froze, her smile fading into a soft one. Maybe because I wanted to see you too, she said under her breath. He heard it. A gentle silence hung between them, broken only by the sound of city traffic and distant chatter. Then Joon-woo suddenly pointed to a street food stall. Okay, enough emotions. Let's eat. I've waited months to see if you can still handle spicy tteokbokki. Ella rolled her eyes. Oh, so that's your test of love now. He laughed. Exactly. Survive the spice, win my heart. She giggled as he dragged her toward the stall, both laughing like old friends who never truly said goodbye. And as she took the first bite, her face turned red instantly. Oh my God, Joon-woo, this is fire. He burst out laughing. Welcome back to Korea, Ella. The next morning, Link's Technologies Training Center buzzed with activity. New faces filled the hall, but Ella's focus was on one particular face. The CEO who kept sneaking glances at her from across the glass wall. Joon-woo pretended to be busy reviewing the trainees' profiles, yet every time Ella laughed with the others, his pen would stop moving. His assistant, Mr. Park, noticed and sighed quietly. Sir, she whispered, you've read that same page 3 times. He blinked. Have I? Yes. And you've smiled at least 7 times in the last 5 minutes. Joon-woo looked up, caught his own reflection in the glass, and groaned. She's ruining my productivity. Meanwhile, Ella was in the middle of her presentation about creative marketing for Lynx's new app. Her voice carried warmth and confidence, and the other trainees were clearly impressed. When she noticed Joon-woo outside the glass, pretending not to look at her, she smirked. After the session, she caught up with him near the elevators. So, Mr. CEO, she teased, how did I do? He looked overly serious. It was acceptable. Acceptable, she gasped in mock offense. Excuse me. I carried that whole presentation like Beyoncé on tour. He chuckled. Okay, fine. It was impressive. Maybe too impressive. Now everyone here will like you. Is that jealousy I hear? She teased, stepping closer. Jealous? Me. Never. He cleared his throat, glancing away. I'm just professionally concerned. Right, she said, smiling knowingly. They entered the elevator, and for a moment, the silence between them was charged. He caught her reflection in the mirrored wall, her long black hair falling softly over her shoulders, her smile faint but full of mischief. Then she said, you know, Joon-woo, if you keep looking at me like that, people might start gossiping. He smirked. Let them. I own the company. Ella burst into laughter, covering her mouth. You're impossible. When the elevator door opened, a few trainees stood waiting. They instantly bowed, whispering, That's Ella, the one the CEO personally recruited. Joon-woo only said, You better live up to the rumors now. She shot him a look. Oh, don't worry. I plan to exceed expectations. And as they walked down the hall, their shoulders brushed, just enough for sparks to fly, but not enough for either of them to admit how much it meant. The morning sunlight spilled through the curtains, painting golden stripes across the living room floor. The soft hum of Seoul traffic echoed from outside, but inside, the air was filled with something far sweeter, the quiet comfort between Ella and Joon-woo. She sat on the couch wearing his oversized white shirt, her long black hair cascading over her shoulders as she scrolled through her phone. Every few seconds, She'd giggle to herself at a meme, then glance at him in the kitchen. Joon-woo, sleeves rolled up, was flipping pancakes with the same focus he used to handle million-dollar contracts. Ella smirked. For a man who can code satellites, your pancake flipping game is very basic. He looked back with mock offense. Excuse me, Miss Critic. You're lucky I'm feeding you instead of firing you. Oh, please, she teased. You'd never fire me. Who else would keep your mood in check? He smiled softly, plating the pancakes before walking over to her. You might be right about that. There was a small pause, the kind that carried weight. She blinked up at him, her teasing grin fading into something tender. What's with that look? He sat beside her, his tone suddenly calm. Ella, what would it take for you to stay in Korea? She nearly choked on her orange juice. Stay? You mean permanently? He nodded. Yes, stay here. With me. Her eyes widened. Joon-woo, are you trying to bribe me with pancakes? He smirked. If that's what it takes. She leaned back dramatically. Well, you'll have to convince immigration first. And maybe offer me a lifetime supply of kimchi. He laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. Done. Wait, you're serious? I'm the CEO of Lynx Technology, he said coolly. I can make a few calls. Ella couldn't stop laughing. Wow. Imagine me explaining that back home. So, Mom, I stayed in Korea because a billionaire offered me kimchi and citizenship. He chuckled, but then reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face. His voice lowered. I'm serious, Ella. I don't want to imagine this place without you. Her laughter faded as she met his eyes. That familiar warmth she once thought impossible in him now burned so clearly. Joon-woo, she said softly, smiling. You're impossible, you know that? He tilted his head. Impossible to love or impossible to resist? Both, she replied with a playful grin, lightly shoving his shoulder. But I'm still going back home first. Let's see how much you'll miss me before making bold promises, Mr. CEO. He gave her that signature smirk. Challenge accepted. The tension melted into laughter again as they playfully fought over the last pancake, Ella accusing him of being too rich to share, while he claimed CEOs need extra carbs for stress. It was silly, warm, and real, the kind of morning that made them both forget how complicated love could be. Seoul's luxury district shimmered under the afternoon sun. Glass buildings gleaming, car horns humming, and the scent of roasted chestnuts floating through the air. But the loudest thing in that whole street wasn't the traffic. It was Ella's laughter. Joon-woo, she said, half laughing, half shouting, as he walked out of another boutique carrying more shopping bags than he could count. Are you trying to buy the entire mall? He turned with that composed billionaire expression, as if he'd just made $1 million deal. I told you to pick only what you liked. I did, she said, waving her hands dramatically. You're the one who added 12 more bags after that. He shrugged, straight-faced. I got carried away. It happens when you're shopping for someone special. Ella stopped walking and stared at him. Oh, so this is a billionaire show-off, huh? Trying to impress the poor American girl who came here for training. He smirked. If the poor American girl would agree to stay, maybe the billionaire wouldn't have to show off. She gasped, pretending to be scandalized. Excuse me, Mr. CEO, are you trying to buy my affection? He tilted his head innocently. Is it working? Absolutely not, she said, but her smile betrayed her. A few pedestrians nearby whispered as they passed, clearly recognizing him. Isn't that Joon-woo from Lynx Technology? One murmured. Who's that woman? Ella leaned closer, whispering playfully. Your fans are watching, Mr. Billionaire. You might want to stop before they think you've gone soft. I am soft, he said calmly, looking right at her. But only with you. Ella froze, cheeks burning. You. She quickly grabbed one of the shopping bags to hide her face. You can't just say things like that in public. People will think you have feelings. He chuckled. Maybe I do. Ugh, she groaned dramatically. You're impossible. Still here, though. They walked side by side, laughter bubbling between them. He guided her into another store. This time a cozy little cafe with warm lights and minimalist decor. As she sat down, she muttered, I swear, if you buy this cafe just to make me coffee, I'm calling immigration myself. He smirked. Too late. I already asked my assistant to prepare your Korean residence papers. Ella choked on her latte. You did what? He looked completely serious. You said you'd only stay if I got you citizenship. I'm just following instructions. She burst out laughing, so hard the waiter nearly dropped their pastries. Oh my God, you're unbelievable. This man is really out here trying to legally trap me in Korea with gifts and government paperwork. He leaned back, smiling, watching her laugh until tears touched her lashes. If it keeps you here, he said softly, then it's worth it. Her laughter slowed as their eyes met again. That warmth, that quiet emotion neither of them dared to name, filled the air like a heartbeat between them. Then Ella exhaled and grinned. Fine, but if I stay, I'm buying you something next time. Something small, like socks, just to humble you. Joon-woo chuckled. Deal, but only if you promise to be here, to give them to me. Ella sat on the couch, sipping her iced coffee, still giggling at the memory of Joon-woo trying on sunglasses at the mall earlier, especially when he put on those oversized pink ones and said, Do I look like your favorite K-drama hero now? Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it casually, then froze. Congratulations, Miss Ella. You've been officially transferred to our Korean branch under LYNX Technology, Global. Her eyes widened. Wait, what? She blinked twice, then screamed. No way. No freaking way. From the kitchen, Joon-woo peeked out, holding a pan like a confused chef. What happened? Did someone steal your coffee? Ella turned the phone toward him, gasping dramatically. You did this, didn't you? Mr. Billionaire with too much power. Joon-woo raised a brow with mock innocence. Me. I'm just a humble CEO who wants world peace, and maybe you by my side. She crossed her arms, pretending to be annoyed. You actually went and transferred me without even telling me? He walked closer, smirking. You told me to do my thing. I'm just following your instructions, Miss Ella. She tried to glare, but her lips betrayed her with a smile. You're unbelievable. Joon-woo leaned in, eyes soft but playful. Unbelievable enough to make you stay in Korea. Ella rolled her eyes, trying not to melt. You're impossible. He chuckled. Then I guess you'll just have to get used to me, permanently. And for the first time, she didn't argue. She just smiled because somehow, impossibly, it felt right. Joon-woo leaned back on the couch, grinning as Ella's excitement slowly turned into her usual playful sass. So, he began, resting his elbow on the couch arm, now that you're officially in Korea, all you need to do is tell me, do you like living here, or would you prefer your own apartment? Ella tilted her head, pretending to think hard, her lips curving into a mischievous smile. I think I'll take both. Joon-woo blinked. Both? She nodded dramatically. Yes, one to live in, and the other to run to whenever you annoy me. You know, a getaway house from Mr. Overly Capable CEO. He burst out laughing. A getaway house? You're already planning an escape from me. Ella crossed her legs and smirked. Of course. You're rich, charming, and dangerously persuasive. A girl needs options. He shook his head, amused. You're the only woman I know who can call me dangerously persuasive and still ask for 2 houses with a straight face. Ella leaned closer, whispering playfully, Well, Mr. Billionaire, you did say I should feel comfortable here. So I'm just taking you at your word. Joon-woo smiled softly, his voice dropping a little. Then comfortable you shall be. For a moment, their laughter faded into quiet warmth. The air between them thickened, not with tension, but with that sweet, unspoken feeling that had been growing for months. Then Ella quickly broke it with a grin. Now, when do I get to see the apartment options, my personal real estate CEO? He chuckled. Tomorrow. And just so you know, I'm coming along. Wouldn't want my favorite tenant to run away too soon. The next morning, Ella strutted out of the apartment in her simple jeans and t-shirt, only to see a sleek black car waiting outside. Joon-woo stood beside it, wearing sunglasses like a K-drama superstar. Ella stopped in her tracks. You're seriously coming to the apartment tour looking like that? He smirked. Of course. The CEO of Lynx Technology doesn't do ordinary. She rolled her eyes, climbing into the car. Right. Mr. Billionaire with the drama. As they drove, Joon-woo scrolled through listings on his tablet. So, I've arranged a few options: penthouse, lake view, or the one with a private rooftop garden. Ella turned sharply. Wait, rooftop garden? Are you planning to build me a castle too? He glanced at her with a grin. If you want one, I'll call my architect. She gasped. You're joking, right? Joon-woo shrugged coolly. Don't be scared, Ella. I have the money. She burst out laughing, nearly choking on her coffee. Wow, you really said that with your full chest. Huh. Should I whisper next time? He teased. Or maybe print it on your shopping bags. Ella folded her arms dramatically. Okay, Mr. Billionaire with the doings. Just don't expect me to bow every time you swipe your card. He laughed so hard he had to pull over. You make even luxury shopping sound like a comedy show. Good, she said, winking. I'm here to keep your rich head humble. By the time they reached the first apartment, a breathtaking penthouse overlooking Seoul's skyline, Ella just stood still, speechless. He looked at her quietly, admiring her wonder. So, do you like it? She smiled faintly, then whispered, You know what, Joon-woo? You make it really hard not to fall for this place, and maybe for you too. He froze for a second, and just when the air grew thick again, Ella grinned mischievously. But still, this rooftop garden better have Wi-Fi. They both burst into laughter, their voices echoing through the spacious penthouse, two hearts laughing like they'd known each other forever. Months passed, and Ella had fully settled into her new life in Korea. What was supposed to be a short training had turned into a new beginning, one filled with laughter, work, and a love that quietly bloomed in the most unexpected place. At Link's Technology, the transformation was undeniable. The once cold and distant CEO, Joon-woo, now walked through the glass hallways with something everyone had never seen before, a smile. Every time Ella passed by, that smile grew wider. During meetings, she'd sit beside him, teasing him subtly while pretending to take notes. Sometimes he'd whisper, Focus, Ella, and she'd whisper back, Stop distracting me with that CEO face. Everyone noticed. His assistant, Mr. Pak, once whispered to a colleague, The man actually laughs now. Ella must have cast a spell. At lunch, Joon-woo would proudly walk with her through the cafeteria instead of staying hidden in his office like before. Employees would glance, trying not to stare, as he held her tray and said, You know this food tastes better when you pick it. Ella grinned. Or maybe you're just finally tasting real food instead of money. That earned her a laugh that echoed across the room. Even board meetings became lighter. Whenever Ella joined to present her part, Joon-woo couldn't hide the way his eyes followed her. Not with the strict gaze of a boss, but with admiration that made everyone whisper. One afternoon, after a long meeting, he leaned toward her and said quietly, You've changed everything, Ella. She smiled, her voice soft. No, you just finally allowed yourself to be human. He chuckled. Maybe, but being human feels good, especially when you're the reason. She looked up at him, heart fluttering, before saying, Ah, look at you sounding like a rom-com hero now. He smirked. Then maybe you should be my leading lady. Ella playfully rolled her eyes. We'll see. Mr. CEO with the doings. Their laughter filled the office once again, and everyone could tell the once icy billionaire had melted, one heartbeat at a time. One sunny day, it started as a small misunderstanding, the kind of argument only two people who secretly can't stand being apart could have. Joon-woo had been buried in work for days, attending back-to-back meetings, reviewing proposals, and barely sleeping. Ella noticed how his temper had sharpened again, the cold CEO side slowly creeping back. That morning, she knocked on his office door holding 2 cups of coffee. I made this for you, Mr. Workaholic. Without looking up, he said flatly, Ella, I told you to prepare the report, not coffee. Her brows lifted. Excuse me? Someone woke up on the wrong side of his billionaire bed. He sighed, rubbing his temples. I just need things done right. This isn't a game, Ella. That stung. Her smile faded. Oh, so now spending time with you is a game? He looked up, realizing his tone. That's not what I meant. But she was already turning to leave. You know what? Maybe I should have stayed in the US where people actually say thank you for coffee. The door clicked behind her. For hours, the silence between them was unbearable. Even the staff could sense the tension. The office that once buzzed with laughter now felt like a refrigerator. Later that evening, he found her in the rooftop garden, staring at the city lights. He quietly approached and said, "You forgot your cup." She turned, half smiling. "Oh, so now you miss the coffee?" He chuckled softly, scratching his neck. "No, I miss the woman who brought it." She tried not to smile, but failed. "You're lucky you're cute when you apologize." He stepped closer. "I was wrong. I just don't know how to slow down sometimes. But you make me want to." Ella smiled fully this time, resting her head on his chest. "Then slow down. You're not a robot, Joon-woo. You need a vacation." He raised a brow. "A vacation? You mean away from Link's tech?" She nodded. "Yes, before your laptop starts calling me jealous." He laughed genuinely. "Fine. You plan it, I'll follow your lead." "Really?" she teased. "Don't tempt me, Mr. CEO, because I'm thinking beach, no emails and no business suits." "Deal," he said, tilting her chin up before kissing her forehead softly. "But only if you promise not to start another couple fight while packing." Ella grinned mischievously. "No promises." And just like that, their laughter returned. Two hearts that could argue, break, and still find their way back, stronger than before. The next week, Joon-woo did something even his assistant didn't believe until he saw the plane ticket. He actually took time off work. They landed in Los Angeles. And the second Joon-woo stepped out of the airport, he blinked against the sunlight like someone just introduced him to Earth for the first time. Ella, in her comfy jeans and long black hair flowing in the breeze, grinned from ear to ear. "Welcome to America, Mr. CEO." He adjusted his sunglasses, eyeing the crowd like they were paparazzi. "It's loud." She laughed. "That's called energy. Don't worry, I'll make sure you enjoy it." He followed her, rolling his suitcase like an obedient student. "You sound too confident." "I'm from here," she teased, giving him a playful nudge. "You're under my care now." Consider it Ella's world tour of fun. Their first stop was a small diner Ella loved from her college days. Joon-woo stared at the menu like it was written in code. "Why are there so many ways to cook eggs?" Ella chuckled. "Because Americans like options, unlike someone who eats the same salad every day." He raised a brow. "It's called discipline." "It's called boring," she fired back. When the waiter brought their food, Joon-woo tasted the pancakes, his eyes widening. "Wait, why is this sweet?" "It's bread." Ella burst out laughing so loudly that the nearby tables turned. "Oh my God, you're so dramatic." "It's not bread, it's heaven." "You're such a rookie, Mr. Billionaire." Later that afternoon, she took him to Santa Monica Pier. The ocean wind tousled his hair as they walked hand in hand. Joon-woo, who once hated crowds, found himself smiling easily. She looked at him and said softly, "See? You can actually smile without a company report in your hand." He laughed. "I think you're the report I want to read, every day." "Did you just flirt?" she teased. "I need to record this moment." Billionaire caught being romantic in the wild. They took pictures together, Ella dragging him into every frame, and Joon-woo pretending to hate it while secretly loving every second. That night, as they watched the sunset paint the California sky, he whispered, "I've been to many places, but none felt like home until now." Ella's smile softened. "Maybe because you're with the right person this time." He looked at her, admiration flickering in his eyes. "Don't worry, Ella. I'm enjoying this more than I ever thought I could." The second day of their vacation began with Ella fixing her hair in front of the mirror, her long black waves falling perfectly over her shoulders. She turned to Joon-woo, who was buttoning up a casual white shirt, looking both nervous and out of place in her cozy apartment. "Relax," she said with a teasing smile. "You're just meeting my family, not signing a business deal." He exhaled slowly. "You say that like they won't ask 1,000 questions about the billionaire who kidnapped their daughter to Korea." Ella laughed. "Well, I did tell them you were my boss. I just didn't mention the part where you're also the man I." He raised an eyebrow. "You what?" She smirked. "You'll find out after dinner." When they arrived at her mother's house, the energy was instantly different, warm, loud, and full of laughter. The smell of fried chicken and mac and cheese filled the air. "Ella, baby," her mom shouted, rushing out to hug her tight. "And this must be the boss." Joon-woo bowed politely. Nice to meet you, ma'am. Her mom's brows lifted. Oh, he polite too? Handsome, polite, rich? Ella, where did you find this one? Ella facepalmed. Mom, her younger cousin whispered loudly. Is he really from Korea? Does he eat kimchi every day? Joon-woo chuckled softly. Not every day. Some days I eat ramen too. Everyone laughed, except Ella, who looked mortified. Y'all, stop interrogating him. But as dinner went on, Joon-woo blended in surprisingly well. He told funny stories about Ella at work, and her friends teased him right back. So one of them asked, You're saying our girl made you smile? The man who looks allergic to emotions. He gave Ella a fond glance. Yes, she ruined my reputation for being cold. Everyone roared with laughter. Even Ella's mom winked. That's how love is supposed to be, baby. A little chaos and a lot of heart. Later that night, as they walked back to the car, Ella turned to him, eyes full of warmth. You did great, Mr. CEO. He smiled, slipping his hand into hers. Your family's amazing. Loud, but amazing. She giggled. Welcome to the American experience. He leaned closer, whispering, If every experience includes you, I might just never leave. Ella laughed, shaking her head. You better not say that too loud, or my mom will start planning the wedding. Maybe that's not such a bad idea, he said with a sly grin, opening the car door for her. Her heart skipped a beat, half from surprise, half from the warmth in his eyes. Later that night, after the endless teasing, laughter, and family love, Ella decided to take Joon-woo somewhere special, her favorite spot from when she was younger. They drove through the quiet streets of her hometown, the hum of the car mixing with soft R&B playing on the radio. She finally parked by a small lakeside park, where the moonlight shimmered over the water like silver glass. Joon-woo stepped out of the car and looked around, his usual composed expression softening. It's peaceful here, he said, slipping his hands into his pockets. Ella smiled, wrapping her jacket tighter. Yeah, this is where I used to come when I needed to think. When life felt confusing. He glanced at her. And now I just wanted to share it with someone who makes me feel safe, she said softly, then added with a grin. Don't let it get to your head though, Mr. CEO. He chuckled quietly. Too late. My ego has already accepted the compliment. They sat down on a wooden bench facing the lake. The air was crisp, and for a moment neither spoke. The city lights flickered in the distance, and crickets sang softly in the background. You know, Ella started, I never thought I'd see this side of you. You're actually normal. He laughed. Normal? That's the first time anyone has ever called me that. Well, she teased, bumping his shoulder lightly. The old Joon-woo would have scheduled this as a relaxation meeting with minutes and an agenda. He smirked. Don't tempt me. I might still do that. She giggled, but her voice softened as she added, I'm serious though. You've changed. You're more open now. He looked at her, the reflection of the moon dancing in her eyes. You did that. Before you, I didn't even realize how lonely I was. Ella blinked, caught off guard by the sincerity in his voice. Joon-woo. He leaned closer, his tone quiet but filled with emotion. You made me feel human again. Her heart raced, her lips curling into a shy smile. And you made me believe love can show up in the most unexpected ways, even in a training program halfway across the world. They laughed softly, their fingers brushing together before intertwining naturally. Ella, he murmured, still gazing at her, promise me something. What? Don't disappear again. I don't think I could survive losing you twice. She smiled, leaning her head on his shoulder. Then don't worry, you're kind of stuck with me now. He chuckled. That doesn't sound like a threat I mind. The billionaire and the woman who taught him how to live again, sitting under the moonlight, laughter mixing with the sound of the lake. The night air in Los Angeles was soft and cool, filled with laughter and music. Joon-woo had secretly gathered Ella's friends and family for a small rooftop dinner, pretending it was just a farewell party before they returned to Korea. The fairy lights glowed warmly above them, and Ella was busy laughing with her cousin when she noticed everyone suddenly growing quiet. Why is everyone staring? She whispered, turning and froze. Joon-woo was standing in the center of the rooftop, holding a microphone with that nervous smile she had never seen before. Ella, he began, voice gentle but trembling, when you came to Korea, you said you were only staying for training. But I think you trained my heart instead. Laughter erupted from her friends, but Ella covered her face, blushing. Oh no, here he goes again, she muttered playfully. He smiled and took a deep breath. You made me laugh when I forgot how to smile. You taught me how to be human again. You're not just my heart, you're my peace. Ella's mom was already dabbing her eyes, whispering, My daughter, oh, this is love. Then, in one slow motion, Joon-woo went down on one knee. The crowd gasped. So, Ella, he said, his accent wrapping softly around every word, will you make me the luckiest man alive and marry me? Ella's eyes filled with tears. You're unbelievable, Joon-woo, she said, trembling. You really want to spend your billionaire life with me? He grinned. It's not a billionaire life without you in it. She burst into laughter through her tears and nodded. Yes, I will. Her family cheered, her friends screamed, and Joon-woo stood, pulling her into a kiss as confetti filled the air. The fairy lights flickered brighter, as if even the stars above were clapping for them. Their wedding was like a dream painted in gold. The gentle ocean breeze danced through Ella's long black hair as she walked down the aisle, her radiant smile melting hearts. Joon-woo stood at the altar, looking breathtaking in a white tuxedo, his eyes fixed on her as though she were the only soul in the world. The soft melody of violins played in the background, and when she reached him, he whispered, You're my forever. Their vows were simple yet powerful. Words born from pain, laughter, distance, and undeniable love. Everyone clapped and cheered when Joon-woo lifted her veil and kissed her softly. It wasn't just a wedding, it was a promise. A new beginning for two hearts that found each other through fate, a lost phone, and destiny's twist. Weeks later, Ella stood on the balcony of their Seoul penthouse, wearing one of his oversized shirts. Her hair swayed in the morning breeze as she watched him prepare breakfast, or rather, try to. He burned the toast again, making her laugh. Mr. CEO, she teased, sipping her coffee. Maybe I should start charging for kitchen rescue missions. He turned with a grin. Not fair. I'm a billionaire. I can afford to burn a few toasts. She laughed, walking over to hug him from behind. And I'm your billionaire wife now, remember? He smiled, kissing her forehead. My favorite title ever. They spent the day dancing to soft music, teasing each other, stealing kisses between laughter. Later that evening, they stood on the balcony watching the city lights, hand in hand. The same city that once made them strangers now celebrated their love story. I still can't believe all this started because of a lost phone, Ella whispered, leaning her head on his shoulder. Joon-woo chuckled. Best accident of my life. And just like that, the couple locked in a warm embrace, laughter echoing softly in the night air. Because in the end, love always finds its way even between two worlds, two hearts, and one unforgettable story. Thank you for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you are new here, please tell us where you are watching from. We would love to know you. And to our amazing subscribers, thank you for your support always, besties. If you love this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your kindness keeps us going. This is Afro Love Diaries, where every heartbeat tells a story.